I'm right back in the video. Part 2. It is 6:17 p.m. and November 3rd, following up from the last video. I got interrupted because my son had come over and he came over and he, wanted to finish up some things that, we had talked about here at my house. And I'm very grateful for his help in the matter, but I was in the middle of making that video and he came to the door and I was pretty upset as I was making that video. So when he came to the door, I kind of snapped back to it. In the back of my mind, I was like, I'm still upset. So I did talk to him a little bit about it today when I was at the house. I didn't want to put him in a position where I made him feel uncomfortable. I just needed to say something because I was feeling like I'm reaching boiling point. I'm upset. I'm very upset that all this happened. And, I don't know. I just feel like I needed to talk about it, and it just got heavy for me, I was talking about in my video of how these people literally use my skills or my my skills, my talents, whatever you want to call it, okay? Whatever I have in order to take care of myself, earn a living. They've used it and exploited it and absolutely had no concern or any care about what it was that I needed. It was all about them and their selfishness. And, here's the thing. I know that they assumed that there was something wrong with me. Oftentimes when people are putting people through gang stalking, they're stalking of this person. They like to call this other person, the same person that they are terrorizing, they constantly like to call them crazy, stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not crazy, okay? They also may have thought that because I liked Stephen Lyles back in high school, that maybe I had no idea that he had a mental disability in high school. None whatsoever. And, but now that I'm like all this stuff, I'm understanding all this stuff. Do I still want to meet him? Yes, I do. I do. I want to meet him. I want to see him. I want to talk to him. I do. But my point is that if these people thought that I had a mental illness, whether it was a mentally ill, to where maybe they thought I was like a schizophrenic or something, that sort of mental illness, or they thought that I was mentally disabled where I wasn't able to function in certain ways, where I was limited in my mental capacities. Whatever they thought, okay, which is all incorrect, but the very fact that they thought it was an entertaining thing to exploit somebody that was helpless, and carelessly do that to a person shows that they have very little regard for, this seems to be how society is in general, okay? They don't seem to care. If I was truly a mentally disabled person in any way, whether it be, somebody who had experienced delusions or mentally disabled in a way where I had, I didn't have complete mind control, control of my senses, my abilities, I was limited in certain ways. That to me is just cruel. That's cruel behavior to treat someone like that. Like you have no regard for them and you think that with their attempts of trying to take care of themselves is a joke to you. Like I said, there are so many reasons why I hate these people. So many reasons why I have every reason to hate these people. And to think that these people would come into my environment and do this sort of thing to me. And not just that, like I said, I told my son, if it was just the issue over at the farmer's place, I would still resent them, but I would not have this kind of hatred. I'm talking about years and years of it. So the fact that I could go back so far and see all these things that's happened to me and understand that all these things that happened to me, all these years that I've been thinking something was wrong, that it was them, that I have been terrorized and stalked and bullied for a very long time. It's kind of eye-opening. But anyway, back to this girl's video, which is original purpose of me making the first video. She was just talking about these sort of things. So when you're dealing with this sort of stalking or this kind of harassment, what I call illogical harassment, because you know that you generally get along well with the people that you work with, and there is no real logical reason why they would mistreat you the way that they're doing. And the reason why they're doing it is because they are being controlled by certain outside influences or whatever. Like, for example, it could have been the girl over at the farmer's place, the girl that I was working with. She could have been like an informant, as well as the girl who I hired as a graphic artist. That's a possibility, and I do believe that they were informants or somehow connected with my family. And this is one of the reasons why they became the monsters that they became. The thing is that that's not my fault. I can't take responsibility for any of this. Same thing over there at the sports place, the organized sports place in Chatsworth. The accounts receivable lady, her going berserk and treating me and talking to and speaking to me the way that she did without me even really knowing her. The thing is, she knew who my family was. She was a part of all this, and she just wanted to be a fucking bitch, right? So, all of this stuff is a very common, story among an occurrence among targeted individuals. They have the same stuff. They go into work, but they're being trafficked. Okay, trafficking is a huge, what do you call it? It's a huge business. What I mean by that is a whole. It's like it's becoming more and more common. Okay, and really it should be on the decline, because there should be far more information out here. You may not even have to understand every aspect of domestic stalking or human trafficking or gang stalking. Okay, but anybody, to me, it blows my mind how someone could not possibly know that you are your own person after your age of 18. That somebody doesn't have rights over another person, and you have all this intrusion and people betraying each other when they legally don't have any right to. This is what's going on, and these people are violating your privacy. That's a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and my family has caused me nothing but psychological distress, financial problems, years and decades, decades of moments that should have been, things that I could look back fondly on. So when you come to realize all the things that these people have done to you, of course you want them, you would prefer them to kill over and die. I mean, that's realistic. It's realistic. You know what I mean? I can't possibly ever feel anything for them except for disgust. Because I would never allow myself to feel that warped of a feeling towards somebody that I claim to care about. But I understand they never cared about me in the first place, okay? I fully understand that. But it's hard for me to understand how you could mistreat someone, destroy their job, and when they're trying to get back on their feet, find amusement in tormenting them. You're a very sick person. And I will never, ever look at these employers who participated in it, like the dude over there in, what's the place? Palm Springs. The guy, Barton, whoever, okay? All these people who do this sort of stuff, really, it's unacceptable. It's not that I don't have a good sense of humor, because I do. I have a great sense of humor, okay? You may not think my jokes are funny. You might think they're a little corny, okay? But I tend to appreciate humor, okay? If it is not at the expense of someone else, okay? I'm a woman who needs a job, who needed to take care of herself, okay? I know that people think, well, she should be married, she should be doing this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, it's none of your business, okay? When people go in to look for work, they're going in to look for work, okay? The reason why they're dressed nice is because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to dress nice for work, okay? You go to a job interview, you make sure you wear, something pleasant, you want to make sure your shoes are clean. If you need polishing, you polish those. You know, if you got lint balls on your jacket, you make sure you take those off first. I mean, just no brainer shit. And that's the way it is, you know. And some people like, you know, I prefer a life where work clothes are separate from home clothes. You know, like for example, I have clothes that I wear at work, and then there's some. But now, you know, where I work right now, I kind of interchange them a lot. Sometimes I wear regular slacks, you know what I mean. But sometimes I wear jeans, you know what I mean. But whatever the case is, I feel as though I'm always dressed appropriately for that job. You know, and that's what matters. Now, some people, they want to wear flip-flops, they want to wear shorts. Some people are into that. Like, I know the guy that they sent over. See, Bob Inger dude that took my job, my idea, over at the farmer's place. You know, I personally thought that he was a little tacky, okay? But I never thought about that really deeply till like now when I think about him conspiring with my family. And then I do remember him asking me, what did I believe? And he would try to start political conversations with me and all this other nonsense. Okay, I do remember that. But I'm basically, I don't know. I'm just kind of saying that these people to me are wicked. You know, I don't care if you thought that, if you really had it in your mind that I was seeing somebody else, okay, if you cared enough or respected a person enough, you would confront that person and bring that concern up to me, and we would talk about it. Mind you, I would say, you know, I'm an adult, and that's my stance on it all the time, okay? Obviously, I didn't do anything. I didn't even know he was involved in it. But I would basically say, look, you know, I'm over the age of 18, and really it's none of your business. Then he probably would have insisted that it's his business. And, you know, this is the problem with people who want to do this sort of stuff. If a person says no, respect it. No. The answer is no. And I have every right to say no. You know? Because look what your entitlement has done to my life. Which you think, you know, and it was unnecessary. You know? And so this is what's going on, is that people are abusing their relationships with other people and going into the workplace, and because, you know, you're a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, you know, doing this sort of stuff, and then taking sides, which is another issue altogether. It's wrong. You know, it's wrong. And it is a form of genocide. You know, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, all these employers really should have been sued. Because I wouldn't be sitting here, you know, getting upset, having anxiety attacks, and blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't be doing that. It's not that I'm a fuddy-duddy person. I really do have a good sense of humor. I like, you know, I like talking to people. I used to, you know, and I used to enjoy talking to people, telling people, saying weird stuff, random stuff, you know, just enjoying, you know, the moment. But, you know, people to me, to behave the way that I've seen them behave, you know, like this was such a competition to them. Like how I mentioned before, like if I had expressed an opinion in the privacy of my own home, this is how I'm telling you, or trying to make you understand how sick and controlling these master perps were. That if I expressed something in the privacy of my own home, they felt as though it needed to be contested like the very next day. It's like these people have this sick need to control. That's narcissism right there. You know what I mean? And I would think I'm out of sight, out of mind. But you know, I don't want to work for the people that they want me to work for. I don't want to live in environments where these people know. I don't want connection anymore. You know what I mean? And it's for my own well-being. At the age that I am now, I feel as though with all the years that I've dealt with their torturous bullshit, the years that they've taken away from me that I can never get back, I can't get that back. Okay? Important. What I consider parts of people's lives that should really be milestones or whatever in a person's life. Things that are extremely important. Like, you know, the day that your kid first starts kindergarten, okay? Or just cute little things that, you know, that in my life, in my experience, it didn't have to be the painful bullshit that occurred in my life. I could have avoided that if I didn't have this baggage that would attach itself to me. You know, yeah, I have nothing but hatred for these people. I'm sorry. Go on and on about it. But right now, I'm going to unwind and try to relax for the evening. But those are the signs, and those are the typical things that go on in the life of a targeted individual. And these are the reasons why. Okay, there's a lot of competitiveness, jealousy. If you got female siblings, sisters, whatever, they get jealous over stuff. You know, things that I can't. I just think it's so ridiculous. But you know, I have the right to live my life however I want. You know, I don't have to stop liking Hello Kitty just because I'm 48 years old. I have the right to like what I like. You know, you don't have to like my clothes. You don't have to like anything. But you need to stay the hell out of my business. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in living your life. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about anything of yours. And I really resent the fact that you feel as though you need to attach yourself to me. I don't want to acknowledge you in any way. So anyway, with that being said, I need to wrap this up. I need to go to bed. I need to stop thinking about this shit. Good night.